many people are so blinded by their ideology and their political bent that they can't see what impact they're having on their business. Anyone listening to this podcast long-term has heard me talk about there is no politics in business. So if you're a business owner, keep your politics to yourself. I remember when I said this, I was on a Facebook group that I had been invited to, and that Facebook group asked me to come in and give advice, and I did, and they instantly, in particular, there was one woman in particular that instantly just came back and hammered me, and then threw me out of the group because I had said that there's no politics in business. There's not. And she wanted to argue with me in front of everybody that there is politics in business. In fact, if you are somebody that, in this case, she was a left-leaner, that she was going to have those politics just right on her front door, and she thought it was going to, and so did other people, thought it was going to bring her more business, not less. So that's the problem with politics. Many people are so blinded by their ideology and their political bent that they can't see what impact they're having on their business. I'll give it a right side. These guys were left. And so they wanted to do all the LGBTQ, and they wanted to do Black Lives Matter. They wanted to do all of the kind of the women's rights. And I mean, stuff that may or may not matter. But in the context of business, when people can look at the front door and decide in their head without pressure from outside groups or being told what to do by a boss, being told what to do by an authority figure, just in their own head, they can choose to just continue walking, or they can come in. You want everything to be as inviting as possible. Mm-hmm. So you want everybody's money, period, if you're going to put your money out and make an effort for it. Now, some people, they're willing to take their additional risk that they can make a healthy concern going forward, having politics right front and center of their business. 100%. And I, do whatever the hell you want. I could care less.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me for advice, or you're going to argue with me about that advice, that's something completely different. And in this case, having that, her argument was that she thought it would augment her business, and her studies had shown that her business was going to do better. So I said, your argument is that your business alienating half of the population is going to, this is anti-Trump, all of this different kind of rhetoric that we all see and hear every day, was on her front door. And I said, you're telling me that you're not going to turn people off that may have otherwise walked into your door and kept going and said, I'll go somewhere else, because you have all that on your door. She said, no, what I'm saying is that I'll have enough other people come in, and that I'll be able to make a go of it. I said, yeah, but if you can have 5 people come in and break even, or 10 people come in and make money as a business, what are you going to do? She says, I didn't need the other 5. And I was like, okay, all right. So you're contradicting yourself. Number one, people aren't going to come in. Number two, your studies don't show that, because that's completely bunk, right? Meaning that more people are going to come because you've got all of the propaganda on the door. That is going to in any way make up for the number of people who walk past because of the propaganda on the door, right? The same risk is taken by people who are on the right, particularly the religious right. Okay, you don't want to have Jesus as Lord and all of those things over your door. And when I say over your door, I'm using that as an all-encompassing, phrase or terminology or example or description, to be like on your internet and on all of your public-facing pages, all of your advertising. You're free to, 100%. And I would just say, as to Christianity or Catholicism or Muslim or any of that, you're probably going to have a whole lot more chance of getting people through your door with religious takes than you ever would with the more political and politically correct takes. Because in the case of Catholics, 35% of Catholics are on the left side of the aisle, or Democrats, and the other is
more Republican.
Is more Republican or more right leaning. So the point being, there's a whole ton of the people that you would otherwise alienate if not for those beliefs stretch across party lines,
Mhm.
where the ones are largely just completely ideological. On the other side, so I wouldn't have an F Trump program.
Mhm.
I also wouldn't say I'm for Trump.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing. So you turn off. I just didn't have an argument with anybody like that. So not that they're not out there. But if you choose to do it as a business and you're for Trump, good for you. I'm happy. Just know
Realize that's going to impact your customer base.
every other person that would otherwise walk up to your door, unless it's very something specific about Trump or something specific to what you're selling, right?
Mhm.
Let's say if you had a Bible store,
Mhm.
right? A Christian bookstore.
Mhm.
Okay, well, if you got a Christian bookstore, throw Trump up on top of that thing all day long, because no one coming in that building that's going to be offended by something like that for the most part. But if you got an ice cream shop, for or against Trump, you got to run as far away from that as you can.
Yeah.
So she argued with me. I'm right. It's 100%. You can't say that your business is going to be as successful as if you didn't have political opinions, which is what she was saying. You can do what I said, which is you can have political opinions. Just understand that it could come at a very steep cost that you'll never be able to know.